Okay, this is April 5th, and I'm just going to look here at what's going on with the charts. So far this week, it has not been easy. The price action hasn't given us some straightforward moves, and we can see this by looking here at this 1-hour chart. This was Friday, non-farm payroll. We sold off, retraced, ended up here at the end of the day. And so far, we've basically retraced 50% of that up move. And then price continued back up. But I'm still leery of this price action because of the rate decision, ECB rate decision coming out Wednesday or Thursday, and also some talks by US FOMC. And that could really screw up some things, including patterns that normally work out. I've been able to snag a total of 76 pips so far this week, and that has not been easy. There was only one that I could get a decent amount of pips on, which was 38 pips. The rest was a plus 10 here, a plus 14 there, another plus 14, because the market's just kind of whippy. And in these instances, I like to scale out as soon as possible and move my stop to break even. So unfortunately, after scaling out, moving my stop to break even, my break even stop gets hit pretty quickly because of this price action that we've been having. But that's okay, it's what we have to deal with. I just wanted to take a look at this weekly chart. We closed the week above the 786 expansion for this ABC to the upside. Normally, closing above the 786 normally will be, the next target will be the 100, FE100. And like I said, with all of the fundamentals coming out, we may not get there. Kind of have to see. Alright, so the daily chart. We've just been hanging around this channel trend line forever. We're not getting a lot of movement away from it. We'll come a little below it, a little above it. So that tells me right there that things just aren't easy in the market right now. But we still are trading in the ABC to the upside with the final target of 44.18. That is the final target on the daily chart. The final target on the weekly chart is 45.68. And then looking at the 4-hour chart, we have an ABC to the upside. We have a bull flag which has been tested, the upper trend line tested. And the target on the bull flag is 44.83, and the target to complete the AB equals CD pattern is 44.07. So 44.07 on the 4-hour chart is what I'm working towards, and 44.18 on the daily chart. So those numbers are pretty close together. Now looking here at the 1-hour chart, we have the bull flag, and you know, I don't trust bull flags a lot. I have a really hard time entering trades according to bull flags, but this one has held really nicely. You know, normally I would wait for, you know, the breakout and then a test of the flag trend line, which is what we're doing right here for a long entry. And I might have to do that. Let me bring that back over. And I'll look at the 15-minute chart to see where that's at. But one thing I wanted to point out is this 4-hour 5 EMA, which is in white. I use that on my larger time frames, like the 4-hour and the daily chart. I just kind of want to see where that's at on the 1-hour chart, so I'm going to stick that on there. Alright, if price comes down to this 42.09 on this 1-hour chart, and on the 4-hour chart it's 42.06, I could consider buying there. So, looking at the 15-minute then, let's see what that looks like. And if I fib this 15-minute chart from the most recent swing low to swing high, that 42.05 area is about 38% retracement. So that could be a good possibility for a long trade. And I would have to look at the currency strength meter, and that is telling me that that trade would probably be okay. Now, so anyways, back to my members blog. Just to update it, I'm still looking at those targets that I mentioned on the weekly, daily, and 4-hour to complete this roll of ABC patterns to the upside. And once those targets are met, at least the daily at 44.18 and the 4-hour at 44.07, once those targets are met, then I'm going to become a little shy because at that point we could go back down a little bit. But I also wanted to bring this up. This is the dollar index weekly chart. The reason I think that those levels that I mentioned on the euro will eventually be met is because we have a head and shoulders to the downside on the weekly chart, dollar index, then we have closed and held below this trend line here for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. We're also supported by this 5 EMA. And let me take a look at the daily here, dollar index. This dollar index daily chart, this is the head and shoulders pattern we see, but we also have an ABC to the downside, which hasn't met its target yet down here at 74.28. But within this ABC to the downside, we've also formed more ABC to the downside to get us to that ultimate target at 74.28 on the daily dollar index chart. And I just have a feeling that's where we may go, especially with the great possibility of ECB interest rate hike. So I think what will really get this euro dollar moving long is if and when this 4-hour chart closes below this trend line. The 4-hour dollar index target is 74.68, and I believe that once we get a close on a 4-hour chart below that trend line, there's a good possibility that will get the euro dollar moving to the upside to reach the targets that I believe it's after. So this is just my members blog, updating it. So far this week, 76 pips. And we do a lot of our trading in the chat room, so join us in there. Okay, this is April 5th, 2011.